Hello everyone, and welcome back to Triple Gaming, and the next part of my analysis of the dev diary for Jurassic World Evolution 2. This time, I'm going to look at the park building and the park management information that we got. However, before we get started, please remember to like the video, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing for more content from us at Triple Gaming. So let's get started, and I'm going to begin with the new elements of park building that we directly saw first. So right at the start, we had it once more confirmed that we will be building parks in a variety of locations, and that these locations will bring their own unique challenges, including bespoke weather conditions. We then got to see the sandstorm weather effect on a desert map. There's a few things I wanted to mention here. Firstly, I'm looking forward to seeing these bespoke weather conditions, but I'm wondering what other weathers beyond blizzards and sandstorms we're going to get. I'm also wondering what other challenges the locations will offer us. The sandstorm effect looks okay, but I'm hoping that the effects of these sorts of bespoke weather conditions will go beyond the usual dinosaurs get stressed and there's some damage to your buildings that we got with basically all types of the storm in Jurassic World Evolution 1. The storms need to feel actually different to one another, otherwise they're just going to feel like any other storm. So I'm hoping that they come with unique side effects. In one large shot, where we see a number of different dinosaurs, we also get to see the return of the monorail structure, so I think the dreaded transport rating is going to come back as a thing for the parks. I do think the monorail vehicle itself has been redesigned slightly. It definitely seems more angular, as opposed to the smooth curves of the Jurassic World Evolution 1 version. We also have the return of the concrete fence, which we knew was probably going to come back. Immediately afterwards, we get to see the inside of the aviary building again. Inside, we can see the viewing area for guests, and it's clear that the inside has been, quite heavily designed. And outside the windows in the back, we can see the same multi-tiered structure that we saw in the Stegosaurus reveal. So I'm assuming that is still the new hotel. I hope that the new hotels are going to be a little smaller and easier to place than they are in Jurassic World Evolution 1. In a later shot, we got to see the new ACU building, which we see under modification. The first thing I find interesting is that the chopper here looks more like the chopper from the Jurassic World Evolution 1 announcement video than the ACU chopper in Jurassic World Evolution 1. We see in this short clip that the buildings can still be upgraded with a series of different modules. We see the standard ones from Jurassic World Evolution 1, including more scheduling, more ranger teams, and something they call advanced training. Given that the icon is a dart, I'm going to assume it's a combo of accuracy and reload speed. There are a few new ones here though, including storm defense, so I'm guessing that means that the big storm defense structures are no longer going to be there, and storm defense is going to be done on an individual basis for particular buildings now. What I am curious about is this advanced scanners upgrade. I'm not entirely sure what that would possibly be doing, so suggestions in the comments, folks, about what you think the advanced scanners upgrade is for. We also see in the bottom corner what looks like a transformer building, but it has absolutely no pylons at all. And in fact, if you look at the other shots in the park that we've got, we don't have any electricity pylons in view at all. So does that mean that we're going to have a more realistic system of underground electric wiring? It would be nice to, because I hate having to put all those terrible pylons absolutely everywhere. In general, it's also nice to see that the new ACU building looks a lot more compressed and smaller than the old one. In fact, all of the buildings do seem to be slightly compressed in size, so I'm hoping that generally park building is going to be easier and we're going to waste less space with the buildings. The new environment tab that we see in this shot shows us the forest leaf and fiber selection, and we can see here that there are various types of trees shown, including the cactus, but also the sort of redwood style trees. So I'm guessing that it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to be able to put down whatever vegetation you like. We also get to see the brushes in action in the shot directly after. It's good to see that there's going to be a nice range of vegetation types, so we're not going to have every single paddock look identical in terms of vegetation. But I do hope that some of these are going to come separately so that we can place individual trees down and individual cacti as decoration. Now in the background, we do see a cactus clipping through a rock. Now, some people are saying this means that the awful hitboxes of the first game are going to be less of a problem. I'm a little hesitant. Given that this is alpha, that could still just be a bug or a glitch. It does look promising, but I'm not convinced that the hitbox system is going to completely disappear like this. If it does, I'll be ecstatic, because then it moves it closer to Planet Zoo Prehistoric Kingdom, but I don't know. We'll see. We get to see the new, what I assume is the new light steel fencing here. It does look better than the one in Jurassic World Evolution 1, I have to say. It just looks a bit more refined with the different colours on it and such. In the T-Rex shot, we get to see the new viewing gallery. It's got a similar style to the Jurassic World Evolution 1 version, but it's scaled correctly and it looks so much better. This time, it really is just 2 stories tall, it's not higher than the surrounding fence, and it actually has a properly designed inside with stairways and such. It looks so much nicer than the oversized version that we got in Jurassic World Evolution 1. They then devoted quite a while to showing us the building customization system. We see a number of different versions of the same building in 2 long shots, and there is a lot to get from just these 2 shots. In the first part, we see several different colours and designs on this one singular building. Something I really like is that the colours seem to have been applied with some degree of aesthetics. So it doesn't matter what colour you pick, they don't appear to be overly garish and overly out of place. They do actually look realistic to the sort of buildings you would get in a theme park or a zoo. We also see what I think is a number of hand-placed items, which include these banner towers, the tables in the back, rocks, which seem a little out of place, so I'm guessing that they're decoration items placed down. In the background, near to what I assume is this toilet block, we do see what looks like the Spinosaurus display section from the old restaurant building, but it doesn't look connected to the toilet block. It looks placed down on the dirt, so I'm going to assume this might be a unique display item as well. Again, we also have in the background another view of this tiered hotel-like structure in the back. I am wondering if we will be able to change the colours of the hotels, similar to how we can change the colours of the other general buildings. We haven't seen one in a different colour yet, but it would be interesting if we can. In the second of these shots, we see a very almost Jurassic Park themed building change a few different times. I think this second part shows just how different we can make these buildings really look, and it highlights that the customization system is really going to yield some unique combinations. I think I'm going to enjoy spending quite a while just looking at my buildings and manufacturing them to look truly unique. I also think that the gyrosphere building has been slightly redesigned, but not by much, just looks a little different. These small towers here along the path, which I'm going to assume are some sort of light tower, similar to the little pyramids we got in the Return to Jurassic Park DLC. They look a bit haphazardly placed and at various angles, so I'm guessing these are going to be hand-placed as well. I hope that if they are hand-placed, that they're going to be easier to delete than the light pyramids were in Jurassic World Evolution 1. Probably the biggest reveal, however, came with the manipulation of rocks that we see. Not only do we see that the rocks come in multiple types and multiple colours, but we also get to see that the stones are being rotated around all 3 axes. And they're also clipping through the ground. This is really similar to the system in Prehistoric Kingdom. It's really unexpected. I didn't expect them to go this far with the... They mentioned that they were going to improve the decoration system and such, but I didn't expect them to go this far. It's very close to Prehistoric Kingdoms. We also see a number of terrain textures being used to paint the terrain, and there's at least 6 being shown, if not more, so it looks like we're going to get more than the 3 or 4 we were limited to in Jurassic World Evolution 1. All in all, I think it's really good to see a focus on park decoration and making it easier to build our parks. So a key thing we're told about park management in the new game is that we'll be hiring a new staff member called the Scientist. These folks will be responsible for all the research and all the creating of new dinosaurs that we do. We get to see a lot of the UI involved here, so we can see that the scientists will have ratings for their logistics, genetics, and welfare skill, as well as a stress meter along with their general traits and their wage. We are told that we have to be careful with the scientists and how much we work them, because if they get stressed and burn out, they will then go and sabotage your park, and it seems like a very in-depth system. It does bring a lot of added management and added jeopardy to the to the gameplay. I also kind of like it how each scientist comes with their own unique little buffs and some information about them as people. It just helps a little bit with the immersion. We're again told about the new territory system, although we don't see it directly in action. We just see the two dinosaurs fight. The system is obviously aimed at builders who mix and match herbivores together often, and to add further challenges, since now are going to have to be careful about our enclosure design and the choices of dinosaur that we put together. I'm hoping we get to actually see this system actually working, sort of the UI and stuff like that, actually in a future dev diary, just so that we can see how it legitimately works. They again mention the addition of the paleobotany system, which is going to be required for feeding the herbivores, so I'm going to guess that the old paleobotany building isn't going to be returning. So that's a bit of a shame, because I think that building is actually one of the few that looks absolutely fantastic and could easily be repurposed in something else. I do hope that the carnivores are going to get some sort of improvement to their feeding system as well, because yes, okay, carnivores just eat meat and piscivores just eat fish, but there is a big range of live bait that you could give a dinosaur, and a range of, fish and meats that you could offer them. So I hope that carnivores will get at least something, because they didn't get any love at all with the Claire Deering DLC, so I'm hoping that we can give them a different type of live bait, something more substantial than a goat. The final big thing we see is the new guest mechanic with the 4 new types of guests. So we see there's a generalist type of guest, an adventure type of guest, which seems to be the sort of person who's going to like carnivores, the nature set, which looks like they're the herbivores, and the luxury set, which kind of looks like they're just wanting nice stuff, basically. We can see what sorts of structures and park requirements that they are going to prefer. It should be noted that with some quick maths, each of these groups on this screen is bringing the exact same amount of money in per person, so it doesn't matter if you specifically cater for one type of guest or not. They're going to bring in the same amount of money regardless. We also see the lagoon as a requirement for the adventure lovers, so I'm guessing this is the aquatic creatures lagoon, as opposed to some sort of recreational or pleasure lagoon like you get at reservoirs and stuff where you have boating and such like that. If this is the aquatic lagoon, it means that lagoons are now going to be must be a type of structure or of some description, which is a good sign. Enhancing the guests as people, I think, is a really big improvement over Jurassic World Evolution 1, and I hope that the guests that you get in the park are going to vary quite often, because if they don't vary too much and they just sit at sort of similar levels, the system is going to be very easy to satisfy and very easy to the system will not only be easy to satisfy, but the system is going to be very easy to basically cheat. So I'm hoping that we're going to have guests vary wildly around. I'm also hoping that guests are going to be able to view dinosaurs through fences. I hope that they're going to be a little smarter in terms of viewing, and that we're not just going to be restricted to viewing galleries and towers again. In conclusion, I think everything that we saw in regards to park building and the park management is actually really positive. I have very little negative to say about any of this. It looks like it's going to be really creative. The focus on creativity has obviously yielded some really good results. I'd like to see some more information about the types of decoration we're going to get, but in general it looks all really good. In the final part of this video, I'm going to look at the big sweeping park shots that we saw and do a little bit of speculation and sort of analysis on what we see structure-wise and anything else that we can sort of find in them. But please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!